Welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. As you know, Wednesdays are Dolphin time at 9 a.m. Eastern time exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And you just watched the newest edition of Dolphin Dive. But now we have an extension and bonus coverage here as we have a Meet the Staff moment for LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball program. So you're getting extra Dolphin time today, as really this Wednesday, October 13th, is dedicated on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora solely to the LeMoyne Dolphins. And we are here with Nate Champion as well as Ben Swank and Speedy Fraser, who has just announced that he is joining the staff here for the LeMoyne College Dolphins men's basketball team. So it is my honor and my privilege to have this special Meet the Staff moment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of our Multimedia Marketing Partnership with LeMoyne that I welcome Ben, Speedy, and Nate. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Morning, Dan. Thanks for having us.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Good morning, Dan.
Absolutely here. And Nate, I'm going to start with you. This is your team. And of course, you are an alum of the LeMoyne Dolphins. You have Ben and Speedy on your team here, making the decision to bring them onto the staff. So Ben and Speedy, why these two guys? Why did they fit what you wanted to have here for LeMoyne? Why did they fit the mold?
Well, first off, they both come from a championship background and playing and coaching at the highest level. With Ben first, coached at Florida Southern and won a national championship at the D2 level with them in 2015. And before going to Green Bay and spending 5 years at Green Bay at the Division I level, and Speedy spending multiple years playing and coaching overseas, and then coaching at Mount Verde Academy, one of the top prep schools in the country, recently known for having the top NBA prospect in Cade Cunningham. And him getting to work, personally with him, and just the experience, plus just their overall goals and the way they fit in at LeMoyne and the culture that they bring as well. So it really fits just everything we're trying to do with our program, and they want to elevate the program to that next level that we're trying to get to. So really a no-brainer for both of them to be on staff, and really for me, kind of lucky to have them both. So really looking forward to them getting started and I guess official practice on Friday. So looking forward to kicking that off.
And Ben, I mean, you hear these words from your head coach here, Nate Champion, and talking about your championship at the D2 level with Florida Southern and your time D1 with Green Bay. Bring me into your experience. And first and foremost, congratulations once again on that championship at Florida Southern, and much respect to you for what you've done at the D1 and D2 level.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. So I grew up in Edinboro, Pennsylvania. I played actually football and basketball at Edinboro University of Pennsylvania, and then wanted to get into college basketball coaching as soon as I was done playing. And I kind of started out at Allegheny College for a year, which is a Division III program in Meadville, Pennsylvania, and kind of a get your foot in the door type of job. And then one of my coaching mentors now, Coach Darner, he was down at Florida Southern, had an assistant spot opened up, and I was fortunate enough to go down there with him for 2 years down there and have an incredible run there, and just be very fortunate to be a part of a great program down there. From there, went with Coach Darner to the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay for 5 years, and also had a good run there. Spent this last year at Division II, Tiffin University in Ohio. And when this job opened up at LeMoyne, I had a couple people reach out and, asked if I'd be interested in it. And I think someone through Coach Champion, through him asking if I would be interested in it. And for me, it was a no-brainer, talking to some different people and what I know about the program and its recent success and how it's set up. It was really a place where I thought I could be a part of a championship level program and somewhere that had similar values to a place like Florida Southern. So,
and for you, Speedy, just making the announcement here, and we're on the heels of that. that you're joining the staff here as an assistant. Just what you could say about their relationship with Nate Champion and why this felt like the right place for you to be.
Yeah, Coach Champ and I, our relationship is still pretty fresh, but I think from the beginning it was very transparent. And, I had a lot of respect from him from a player's perspective, him playing overseas. Then obviously him getting a coaching experience once he was done playing, being an assistant at Florida Southern. And I think it was time for me to enter the college realm. And me being a New York guy, I felt like LeMoyne was a perfect fit for me, being able to recruit from the Catholic League and the public school league in the city. And the rich tradition, the winning tradition that LeMoyne already had, I think it was a no-brainer for me.
So, Nate, you put this staff together and you have a unique opportunity to bring in two new faces in Ben and Speedy. What was that challenge like for you did you like the fact that you had two open opportunities? Do you dislike the fact that you have that? Because obviously that means, some change for the guys that are coming back and whatnot. How do you view vacancy on a coaching staff?
Obviously I think for me and the young staff that we had before, and Tyler Kelly and Luke St. Lifer from the 1920 staff, Tyler Kelly goes to be a top assistant at Lincoln Memorial and one of the top D2 programs, who's actually just announced that they're looking to go Division I at some point here in the near future with a few other Division II schools. And so I think it's a great opportunity for Tyler, and Luke St. Lifer is now at Division I Bryant as the director of basketball operations there and having great success in his young career too. So, I think you can look at it two ways, but for me, I look at it as it's great that our people on our staff are moving up in the coaching world. And, it gives us great opportunity though to keep new staff coming in that are also looking to, better themselves in the coaching world as well. And the thing with Ben and Speedy was it really helped us make a smooth transition just because of how well they relate to the players and their recruiting background and just their morals as people lined up with what we have as our program, and I think that's something that you look for when you're looking for new staff, somebody that are good, some guys that are going to fit right in and just kind of have that seamless transition. And that's exactly what it's been so far.
This is a Meet the Staff event that we're doing exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for the LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball team. Why is it important for you to the community to meet the staff here in such a virtual realm right now prior to the season? Why did you want to make sure, Nate, that we did this, and what are you hoping for the community to get out of it?
I think it's just great for people to put a name to the faces, and with our program becoming, I guess out of COVID-19, where we're looking to get back out into the community more and, be involved with some school programs and things like that. It's just going to give people a great opportunity to meet our staff and for us to be just more relevant in the community than we have in the past year due to that pandemic. And, I thought we were getting started pretty well in 1920 with having that presence in the community, but obviously that came to a halt. So really looking forward to having these two guys out and about in our community and, having other people get to know us. So it's just it lines up really well with the men and women for others, that we talk about here at LeMoyne. And I think that's been on display early as, we've already had a little bit of community service a couple of weeks ago, which we were out at the community garden there right by downtown. And we just, I think are going to have a much bigger presence in the community as we move forward.
Speedy, for you in this special here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Travel Cafe Cubal Studios, why was LeMoyne, in your opinion, and we talked a little bit about the decision, but why was LeMoyne the right next step for you of anything that you could have looked at doing? in any part of the country, even outside of the country. Why did you feel that being a Dolphin at this point in your career was right for you?
I've always felt that, you want to work for, or you want to work with a coach that you believe in. And I believe in Coach Champion. I mean, his first year, he goes 19-9. And then, with the Jesuit background, me being a Catholic school kid my whole life, I think it was those two things that lined up for me that made the easy decision.
And what about you, Ben? With the experience you've had at the D1 and D2 level, why did LeMoyne fit you for the next step in your career?
Yeah, I think mainly it was just a place that I saw where you get a chance to win and win at a high level. And that's one thing that, actually my father, who was a longtime college coach, always said, go somewhere where you have a chance to win and be successful and not just, be mediocre at best. And, I think LeMoyne is definitely a place where we can be successful. And, I want to continue what has been going on here in recent years, but also contribute to taking it to the next level.
The last 18 months has taught us all a lot on and off the court. Ben, what have you learned about yourself in the last 18 months?
Oh, geez. I honestly really to take things a day at a time, because you can never know, what can happen, and be flexible and be willing to adjust. Some things are thrown at us that we have to work around. And I think a lot of times before, pre-COVID, we were getting kind of comfortable with how things were and not, getting out of our comfort zone and being able to be flexible and adjust. And, that's one of the things, I think the main things I'll take from the recent years.
And Speedy, for you, what would you take from the last 18 months?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on Coach Ben. Same thing, being, adjusting to the times. And also, it makes you realize how much love you have for the game, basketball. And when we're during COVID, when we don't have it, it's not 100% there. It makes you appreciate the game more. So that's what it's meant for me.
So appreciating step by step, appreciating the game more, appreciating the time we have, the opportunities we have. Nate, what has the last 18 months taught you?
I would say to just be resilient, and take everything that you have and really appreciate it, but also know that it can be taken away at any moment. And I think that was something that was preached in my first year there. We had so many seniors. We talked about, just leaving it all out on the floor because you never know when it's going to be done. And we never expected it to end like that, with the abrupt ending in the 1920 season. And then, not even being able to play last year. I think that really put things into perspective. You just really don't know when that ball is going to stop bouncing and when this opportunity that you have in front of you is going to be gone. So I think it's really just be appreciative of everything that you get and take advantage of every opportunity that you can.
I've spoken with you about this before in a way. And the thing that's kind of crazy to me is I had two specials with LeMoyne that I had put on the homepage of my website and featured them on wakeupcalldt.com. And it was you and I sitting in front of the Dolphin waterfall, and then Gina Castelli and I. Little did I think or know that those two specials that I had sitting there would last almost 2 years because there wasn't a season. You know what I mean? Everything was kind of just shut down. And, knowing that Gina was on a bus trying to go to, the tournament time world, and that was going away. And you were, heading toward that as well. So it was strange to look back on that. But we spoke about your name. And I know, Bob Beretta said it's not an if, it's a when. The director of athletics at LeMoyne College, and him and I every other Wednesday each month, a couple times a month at 9 a.m. do AD and DT, where him and I break down very important pieces, components, and topics that have to do with LeMoyne and the future of LeMoyne and the present of LeMoyne. He said not if a championship, when a championship. Your last name is Champion. and it's not like a Kardashian name that we get to make up here or anything like that. So how important is it for you to live by that name, and what does it take to be a champion daily and not just at the end of the season?
Answer the first question. Obviously, there's a lot to live up to when your name's champion. You don't really want to ever lose. But at the same time, I think it just is kind of a resemblance on the motivation and the, I guess, driving factor that I have to take LeMoyne to that level. I mean, we're close. We're on the cusp of being a top team in the country, and I think it's not out of the realm of possibility to talk. In that perspective, I think LeMoyne's done a great job with the administration putting us in a position to where we can compete at the highest level, and I think it's our job as coaches to make sure we put out a team that can do that. And that's our goal. I think everybody's goal at the beginning of the year is to go undefeated and win a national championship. I think that's not something that's a secret, but I do think that we are trying to prepare ourselves to have a great team every year. And so, with that, I do think it's something that we really work forward. We work for, and we push ourselves to kind of just take that next step towards. And then for your second question, I'm drawing a blank right here to the second part, but
how you win every day, how being a champion isn't at the end of the season, but it's all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just really the way that you approach it. You approach every day to get a little bit better and try to find something that you want to work towards, and something that you pick out of your day to kind of better yourself in. And we talk about that with our guys all the time. It's it doesn't just happen on the court. It happens in the classroom. It happens in the community, and all that stuff translates. But it's really just kind of going back to being that appreciative person, and make sure you wake up every day knowing that it's an opportunity to get better, and it's an opportunity to take our program in a different direction that it's never been to before. And I think, like I said, we're just on the cusp. We're on the cusp of being that team that contends every year. And we tell our team that, we want to compete for regional championships and Final Fours and national championships, and not just in the region. We want to make sure that we're a contender every year.
Is coming in our Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, special extended bonus coverage of the LeMoyne Dolphins in this men's basketball Meet the Staff opportunity spotlight that we have here with Ben Swank, Speedy Fraser, as well as Nate Champion. Speedy, share with everybody what your focus is going to be on this team under Nate Champion. What is going to be kind of your day-to-day operational piece that we should get to know you for? What's going to be your expertise on this staff at LeMoyne?
Well, my number one strength is player development, and I'm really looking forward to that come October 15th, player development. And then also, I'll be doing some scouting, I'll be overseeing the managers. Again, this is my first year on the college bench. So, Coach Swank, he's been a huge help. He's got the experience as far as the Division I level. So he's just been walking me through on the day-to-day basis. And, I'm able to learn so many things, but mostly player development and scouting. And also, last but not least, the grades and overseeing the academics, certain players that I'll be assigned to, also making sure guys get it done in the classroom.
And Ben, as far as for you, what's going to be your focus here on this staff?
Yeah, hopefully, I can help out in a lot of different, areas and facets, and just be kind of like that, crutch that Coach Champion has, to lean on. Whether, I know a big part of it will be recruiting, which we've already been out there, quite a bit on the road and talking with different, recruits across the country. Academically, I know that's something that, is big with Coach Champion with this program and the culture that he's created, is to be successful not only on the court, but in the classroom and in the community, which I think we've gotten after in all those areas so far, and we'll, continue to do. But, I always try and just say, being an assistant, it's, your main job is just to make life of the head coach a little bit easier, and whatever I can do, and I think it'll be a lot of different areas as far as that goes, and I'll do. So
How do you, Ben, anticipate that Nate Champion will make you a better coach and a better person? How will he challenge you, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's given me a lot of freedom to share, opinions and some things that I've, gathered from people I've worked for. And, that's the great thing about, Coach Champ. And I believe, the guy that's, a big mentor in my coaching career is one of the best coaches out there. I know, a guy that's been a big mentor to Coach Champ is also one of the best coaches out there, and Coach Donnelly down at Florida Southern. So, I think we can both kind of bounce ideas off each other and choose what we want to do. But it's worked out well, and it's been a nice transition because we do have a lot of the same philosophies that have kind of been shared through different, coaches that we've been connected with. So.
And Speedy, for you, same question. How do you anticipate that Nate Champion will challenge you and make you better?
Yeah, so already Coach Champion, in our coaches meetings, he's allowed me to, voice my own opinion, and he's always asking us, what we feel and what we think about, decisions with the players, with the team, and practice sessions moving forward. So already he's kind of like opening up my mind in terms of, how head coaches think and, all the decisions that go in day to day. So that's the type of effect he's having on me so far.
And Coach, apparently the internet pauses when I ask people to say nice things about you. So I'm gonna ask you how you believe that Ben and Speedy will challenge you, because obviously you made the decision to bring them on staff.
Yeah, honestly, I think they come from different backgrounds, and the biggest thing as a head coach, you're the ultimate decision maker, but there has to be different ways to do things and to keep it fresh and to, continue building the culture that you're building towards, but you can do it in different ways. And I think that's kind of the approach that I've had with this assistant coaches. I have a way of doing things, but I'm always open to new ideas and different ways of creating that same thing that we're trying to get towards, and I think that's the biggest goal is you don't want to continuously do the same things. It gets monotonous, it gets boring, and, players kind of get tired of it. So I think with the two guys that we brought in, and Speedy and Ben, it's just been a really nice refreshment for me as far as, here's what we're doing, here's what we are trying to do. And then they come up with two new ideas of the same thing that we're trying to do and just a different way of accomplishing it. So for me, it's great. It keeps my mind fresh. It keeps us doing new things, but it also helps us, kind of get on the same page as far as what goal we're trying to achieve. So it's been really good so far.
That coming from Nate Champion here with Ben Swank and Speedy Fraser here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball spotlight special, where you get to meet the staff here wherever you are. So we definitely appreciate you being here. Before we get to rapid fire and a final note, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a song out there called, I don't think it's called Fins Up, but I play it on my story on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT and a lot of different pieces. And so you'll hear this Fins Up thing, which I think is a nice beat. It's got something to it. And I told Bob Beretta, the director of athletics at LeMoyne, that when I hear it, I can picture a certain dance that he would do. I offered that when championships are won, that Bob Beretta gets out there and shows us his dance moves. Nate, what are your thoughts on the new director of athletics, Bob Beretta? And would you like to see him dance to a LeMoyne men's basketball championship?
Oh, first off, Bob's been great. And, I spoke about a seamless transition, him walking into that athletic director's spot. And continuing the success that we've had right away is something that's been great, for the whole athletics department. And he's, added some great pieces as well with, your piece that comes in, and some other things as well with, marketing and some branding around the campus, and just some, like I said, some fresh ideas to accomplish the same thing that we've been working towards. So, Bob's been great, and he's been great for me too. He challenges me in ways, that I haven't been challenged before, which is something that I wanted, and something that I've really embraced. And, he's also going to let you coach the basketball team, and he always talks about that. Our coaches are the CEOs of our program, and, he stands by that. He's extremely supportive of us and in the men's basketball program as well. So, with that support, I do think that if we win championship, he should be out in the middle of the court doing a dance to the Fins Up song. So I'll run that by him tomorrow to make sure that it's okay. But I would wholeheartedly love that scene. So
yeah, I've already spoken to him too about it. So it's stamped and approved. We did episode 3 of AD and DT, and he said that whether people can either vote for him to please not dance or to please dance, but when the championships are won, he said either one he'd be happy to do. Ben, your thoughts on the leader of this athletic department, Bob Beretta, and would you like to see him get down to Fins Up?
Oh, he's been absolutely fantastic from what I see so far. I don't have as much interaction as Coach Champion does with him, but I know he is trying to get things done and at a fast pace, and has a bunch of really fresh and new and great ideas, and he's moving forward full steam ahead. And I think everybody in the athletic department is on board with that. And to answer the second part of your question, I think if we win that championship, I think we all need to be out there dancing. I think we will be. So I'd like to see him out there, and I'd like to see you out there as well too with us.
You know what? I have Italian and Hispanic blood, so I have to dance. It's in my blood.
Yeah,
I don't have a choice. So yeah, and I would think that based on the last wedding I was at, when we were the only people on the dance floor at one point, my date that I had there, I think we held it down okay. I think we did okay. I'm gonna give her more credit, but I hope I did all right.
There you go.
Speedy, what's your thought? I know it's early impressions of Bob Beretta, the director of athletics at LeMoyne, and do you think that he could hang with your moves on a championship day?
Yeah, Bob Beretta, he's a true leader, and he's welcoming with open arms already. In our first initial convo, he said that he was jealous of all my international experience, as he hasn't traveled as much. But I think he's a great guy. He's a worker, and in terms of dance moves, he's probably not going to be as quick as me. Hence the name Speedy. But I'd like to see him get out there as we raise up that trophy this year. So.
Fair enough. Our final piece here in a Meet the Staff spotlight opportunity here, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios with the men's basketball team, Nate Champion, Ben Swank, and Speedy Fraser. Here, as we have our final piece, it's called Rapid Fire. And what it allows me to do is put you guys on the hot seat and talk about things that have nothing to do with basketball. And in the spirit of fairness, I don't know any broadcaster that I've ever met in almost 18 years of broadcasting that puts himself or herself on the hot seat, which I will do. I will ask you each 2 questions, and you can respond back to me as well. We're going to round robin this thing and go back and forth, get to know you off the court, and I have to answer whatever you guys ask me as we are all on this video together. Speedy, I'm going to stay with you. And my first question for you is, where did the nickname Speedy come from? And is it your favorite nickname that that people have given you, or is there another nickname that you like?
The nickname Speedy came from my neighborhood where I grew up in Parkchester in the Bronx, New York. Basically by my friends growing up. I was really small. I I wasn't that tall. I couldn't jump high to get rebounds, so I had to run around the whole court and play defense on everybody in order to get the ball. So that's where the name came from. That's my only nickname, from 10 years old to now, across the whole world, everywhere I've been. That's what everyone calls me. So.
Fair enough. What's your first one for me?
My first one for you is, what's your all-time favorite TV sitcom show?
It's a fantastic question, and it's got an easy answer. I grew up on TGIF. I was spoiled when television used to be great, not good. And so I had Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, Dinosaurs, Boy Meets World on Friday nights. And my favorite sitcom of all time and my first ever crush, who I actually got to meet at New York Comic Con a couple of years ago, Danielle Fishel, Topanga, my favorite sitcom of all time is Boy Meets World.
Nice.
And Topanga's even better in person. I'll give her that much.
I bet.
What'd you say?
I bet she is.
Yeah, she definitely is. It was kind of ironic how the world went. I met her and then I came home, and the person that I was with at the time, and this isn't because of this, but I thought it was funny. We broke up the day I came home, and it was right after I met my childhood crush. So, I'm not married to Danielle Fishel, but I'm okay with what happened. Nate, my first question for you. We've gotten to know each other over the last couple of years, but there's some things I don't know about you yet. So I would say to you, if you could be any comic book superhero, who would you choose to be and why?
Comic book superhero. I think, to be honest, I think I would be Superman. Seems to be somebody that can kind of do a little bit of everything and saves the world one problem at a time. So, I think Superman would be my.
Okay, fair enough. What's your question for me?
My question for you is, I see Rain energy drink on your table. So are you an energy drink or a coffee type of guy?
Well, I work with Cafe Cubal, and I also have Rain. Rain works with us as well, Rain and Monster. I'm a kid, and so I don't need I really honestly, I don't think I need the energy. I'm one of those people that can function on a half an hour of sleep, 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours. And I more drink it because I like the taste, and I like the name Red Dragon because I'm a Game of Thrones fan. So it's funny how I'm very, I'll always be a big kid, but I would say, do I need it to survive the day? No, but does it come in handy with my schedule lately? Yes, it does. I would say that. Ben, my first question for you, if you had to write in a time capsule one sentence of advice that's going to be open in the year 2040, of everything you've learned up to this point, what would you write in the time capsule?
Get some sleep before you have a newborn son. I have a 1-year-old. He's almost 2 now, and I'm thankful that we got him to sleep. Earlier he's still sleeping, so I'm thankful he's sleeping and not up, because you'd be hearing him a lot. But no, I mean, if I had to write one sentence in there, it would probably be something to the fact of just enjoy where you're at and be in the present. I think that's something that I've learned from my years here in coaching recently. So
I like that. Be in the present. Something that I had struggled to do my whole life until, really these last few months here. So I could appreciate that very much. So what's your question for me, Ben?
My question, kind of a simple one for you, but what is your number one sports movie?
My number one sports movie. That's a very good question. I would say it's probably a cross between two. I would say it would be Remember the Titans, or it would be the Ernie Davis movie. So I would have to say that either The Express or Remember the Titans. I think, unfortunately, this world didn't pay enough attention to Remember the Titans when it came out. So I would suggest we all watch it again. And beyond that, I would have to say that The Express, it's just, I got to interview Jim Brown. I got to not only interview, but for 8 years up until he passed, I got to become very good friends with Floyd Little, which to me was insane. It was like becoming friends with a ghost. I couldn't believe that I could shake his hand. So to me, he was always larger than life, and I miss him. I get very choked up when I think about it. I will never forget walking into a room, and it didn't matter who was in the room, and he would turn, and he'd always be dressed to the nines, and he'd turn and he goes, "There he is, there's Dan." And he would just, get really animated and give me a hug. I mean, he did a video for my grandmother's 100th birthday for G Mama. And so, interviewing him and Jim, Ernie's the other of that trio that obviously I didn't have the opportunity to speak with because he passed away so young. So I really just took to that movie and really fell in love with Ernie Davis's story from that movie. So I feel like, for me, that's a very meaningful movie. My final go around here for rapid fire, Speedy, I'm going to go back to you, is what movie, this is a two-parter, what movie could you watch on repeat for the rest of your life and never get sick of? And then secondly, what's the one movie that if somebody puts on, it's like nails on a chalkboard and you want to run out of the room screaming?
Okay. Movie that I'll never get tired of is probably Above the Rim with Tupac. And a movie that I want to scream, I'll probably go with Frozen.
Okay. All right. I like it. What's your last question for me?
My last question for you is, what was your favorite sport growing up?
Well, I mean, I picked up a basketball when I remember I was 3, and they blew up an inflatable basketball pool and handed me an inflatable basketball. And it's the one time that I've dunked, I think, in my life at 5'8". And I would also say at 7 years old, I started playing organized. I will never forget my coach. I was not fond of my coach, and I wasn't playing a lot. And I didn't like some of the things my coach was doing. And I remember going into the bathroom and I said, "Hey," and I was trying to figure out, how do I say this to my dad? And I said, "Hey, Dad." He said, "Yep." I said, I can't even say this word nowadays because it makes me sick to my stomach, and I'm not kidding about that. I don't like saying the Q word, but I'll say it for the story, even though I want to throw up when I say it. But I said, "Dad, I think I'm going to quit." And he said, "No, you're not."
Wow.
And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, it's my decision. I don't like the coach. It's not that I don't like basketball, but I don't want to play for him. And my father said this, I will never forget this. He said, "I refuse to let you quit." And I said, "Why?" And he said, actually, I didn't say why. He just continued. He said, "If I let you quit this at this age, you will quit for the rest of your life. So you could do things when you're older, you can make your own decisions, but I'm not letting you quit this right now because I refuse to raise someone who quits for the rest of his life. So I'm not letting you quit." And you know what? I've never, ever quit on anything ever in my life.
That's tough.
Shout out to my dad.
Yeah, shout out to your dad. I respect that.
All right, Mr. Champion. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about a recent engagement. So I want to know the most, if I asked you right now on the spot, and I really, really, really hope she's watching. If I said to you, pick the most romantic thing that you could do, if you were giving relationship advice, what would you tell us is the most romantic thing you could do for a lady?
The most romantic thing you could do for a lady, I would say just be appreciative of the things that she does. I know, at least for me, Abby's really big on like when I appreciate, if the house is clean after I've had a long day, or I come home and my laundry's folded, or my lunch is made, and then show signs of appreciation, not just saying thank you, but when you have a chance, do the dishes if there's some in the sink, or if the laundry needs changed over, do that, or if you see some trash that needs to be taken out, make sure you do it. But I think just showing appreciation is the biggest thing. Knowing that you can have a busy schedule and you may not be there all the time, especially with my profession, but knowing that it's appreciated what she's doing. So I think for me, that would be it.
It was a very sentimental and sweet answer, and I felt like
Abby, how'd I do? She said decent.
It's the little things. It's
Not
the little
bad.
things.
Not bad.
she said decent. I'm sitting here thinking I put you on the spot, and you said something very kind and sentimental, and there's some tears, I think, around the world hearing that, and then Abby says you did decent. So that's a tough one to crack here. What's your last question for me?
I think you talk about going through things and not quitting and ups and downs. What would be the biggest challenge you've overcame to get to where you're at today?
Shutting out the outside noise and loving myself. I think one of the most difficult things, listen, I've been doing this come November for 18 years. I have now broadcasted for more of my life than I haven't. And when I hit 34, I said, okay, I started like 17 going in 18 around that time. So I broadcasted for half my life. Now I'm about to surpass that. So for the rest of my life, it'll be that I have been broadcasting. And, I could tell you that I take what I do very, very seriously. As much as I love to joke and be a comedian, I take it very seriously, because my thought about this is if you lose, or maybe you make a bad call, or maybe something happens or whatever, that when I'm writing a story or I'm interviewing you, I believe that you have to treat people the way you'd want someone to talk to you. And it's an art to me, a very beautiful and fine art, that you can critique a team, critique a player, critique a coach, and then still have that coach want to have dinner with you, still have that player answer your text message, still have them give you a hug after the game. And as much as I know that I have to constructively take an eye to what coaches and players do, I never thought that I'd live in a world where fans, and I'm quotationing them because I think there's fans and I think there's angry people. And I think sometimes that line gets blurred. And I never thought as a broadcaster I would be attacked. And, I figured coaches and players would be attacked, but I never thought that media would be attacked. And I think media attacks media so much. And so I think what I've learned in life, growing up at a high school that was very derogatory, and in a world where there was a lot of inequity, I would say that the biggest thing I've learned is other people's opinions of me are none of my business. And I have every right to live my life the way I want to, unapologetically. I know that I'm never going to hurt somebody on purpose. I know that I always lead with love. I know I always tell the truth when it comes to telling stories. And so I think it was just really learning how to love myself, when I always ask the question, if I'm bringing positivity to, like, I'm giving the world free information. I'm bringing them you guys. I'm bringing them the men and women of the world, and I'm sharing stories. And I thought, hey, I'm only bringing positive information. I'm like dropping gifts off at everybody's doorstep. I never thought somebody would spit on you for that. But I found that this world can be an ugly place sometimes. So you have to love yourself from the inside out. And you really, really have to leave the outside noise outside, because by definition, that's where it belongs. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but I had to learn how to accept the fact that the people that hate you probably don't even know you, and that negativity really has no place in my life. So I had to learn how to love myself and not ask other people's permission to do that.
Great answer.
Thank you. Ben, my last one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go with food here because I was going to ask one of you all food, and I'm big on food, and I've traveled down to Charlotte, and I'm big on getting my Southern food. So I got to ask you this breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing. If you could only have one breakfast, one lunch, and one dinner for the rest of your life, what would you have and why?
You know what, believe it or not, I'm not a huge breakfast guy.
Okay.
But if I had to pick, there's a bagel shop on the way to right by campus, actually. Their bagel sandwiches are incredible. So I think I could do breakfast for the rest of the time on that. Lunch, I'm gonna have to go with I'll go with a famous pizza shop back home in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. Unbelievable pizza. It's called Wildwoods. It's so good. I actually had it. We had it delivered in for the late night portion of my wedding. That's how good this pizza is. Had to have it. So I'd go with that for lunch, and then for dinner, man, I'd go with a good steak from somewhere. It can be anywhere, just a solid steak. That's something that I really like. I could go with the steak for the rest of the time. So that would be my options right there.
All right, fair enough. What's your last one for me?
My last one for you is, if you could have dinner with anybody, past or present, who would it be?
Robin Williams, without a doubt. Robin Williams or Dave Chappelle. And I think my thing with Robin Williams is I watched his comedy my whole life, and I love making people laugh. I love that challenge. I don't care what room I'm in. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their background is. I don't care what their likes and dislikes are. And Dave Chappelle, I don't like anything that's politically correct. I like that Dave is going to just tell you how he feels. And I think Dave is he's a real comedian. He's unafraid to speak his mind. And so I love the Chappelle show. I loved what it was meant to do. Do I think it always did what it was supposed to do? Probably not. And that's why Dave left. But Chappelle is he's a real comedian. And Robin Williams is just, he's superhuman to me. So I would say that. My final piece here with these gentlemen in the get to know, meet the staff portion of this LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball team special on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, part of our LeMoyne Multimedia Marketing Partnership inside of the Cafe Kubal studio. Speedy, final note here. What does it mean to be, and I know that you're a very new member of this, but what is a LeMoyne Dolphin? How would you describe the Dolphin way? Speedy, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. How would you describe the Dolphin way? What does it mean to be a Dolphin?
I think first and foremost, to be a Dolphin means to be smart, very intellectual, and to move swiftly.
Okay, fair enough. Ben, what does it mean to be a Dolphin?
I think it means striving for excellence in all facets of life, and not settling for mediocrity, but trying to be successful and a well-rounded individual.
Fair enough. Mr. Champion, what is the LeMoyne way? What does it mean to be a Dolphin?
I think, to piggyback off of what, Coach Swank said, just, being that well-rounded individual, including, service for other people, and not just yourself, and bettering yourself in that way. And I think the men and women for others part that LeMoyne harps on is truly what makes us the unique Jesuit. So being a LeMoyne Dolphin is everything combined, being smart on and off the court, 36 semesters above a 3.0 GPA in the athletic department, men and women for others, leading the way in community service, and then also trying to be the best that you can possibly be on the court as well, and always striving for greatness. So, I think it's all three things combined, but it's definitely a unique place to be in
That coming from Nate Champion, Ben Swank, and Speedy Fraser here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this special Meet the Staff spotlight on the LeMoyne College Dolphins men's basketball program. You got this exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I want to thank each of you for taking the time to take the time, and I look forward to what's coming up this season and all the great news that is to come. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Speedy, and thank you, Nate.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.